Well, this is us, Demigod Media. Welcome. Tell us what you think.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Demigod Media. And, well, as always, we bring to us another opportunity to think, things that you might want to consider, things that maybe you have not had the time to think of, or, stuff like that. Anyway, so please do well to like, share, subscribe if you enjoy this. And what our focus for today would be something um not controversial, but well, we'll be walking at the edge of conspiracy theory a bit today. So, anyway, the topic is on, or the question to consider is this: Do you think, do you think that you'd do well at running the world? I mean, have you considered it? If, say, for example, your family or you are invited to say be part of those who get to run the world, do you think you do a good job? Do you think you do a better job than what is being done now? Like, do you think the world will be a better place because you are one of those who run the world? Do you think so? I mean, share your thoughts in the comment section and keep listening if you want to hear my thoughts. If if I think I can do it, just keep listening, like, share, subscribe, but let's go. Firstly, here's the thing. A lot of people think when they hear the word, maybe families who run the world or people who run the world, they are quick to just shut it out. Understandable, skepticism is good. I mean, very understandable. But at the same time, there are people who run our societies. You cannot argue with that. Wherever you're listening to me from, you have probably a president, or in general, in a more generic term, you have a ruler. Might not be a president, maybe a prime minister, maybe a king, something of the sort. But you have a ruler, an obvious ruler. So, and his leadership capacity and administrative capacity will determine um, where the country or where the nation or where the kingdom, where his people will be. Yeah, and what they feel and how the economy is, stuff like that. So if you look at, we have seen your nation now or your people, right? So let's zoom it out, zoom it further to the world itself. If you do not believe there is one family that does it, at least you should be able to see that your presidents would have um, allies, right? People that they understand each other or they have a common agreed term for their relationship, right? And they would have a collective goal for where they want their people to be, right? Basically. So that is a that's an aspect of those who run the world, right? That's one aspect. But there's also the other aspect um that's the conflicting, stuff. And that's the shadow government. That those who run the world from the shadows beyond the eyes of the everyday people. And, you know, I can't even say I have an issue with them per se, right? Because, firstly, I believe that they exist, right? So, going forward, if you look at the world and if you look at humans generally, whoever is going to run or govern the world, right, needs a very different mindset than what we see in the everyday person. That's what I believe. Very different mindset. It's like, if you remember our discussion on the image of God. So, and we talked about how minds may be able to graduate, right? So I think anyone who anyone who is going to be running the world must have some sort of planetary mindset, right? He must be able to see things from the good of the planet, right? From the good of the planet, not just, you get my point. Yeah, so you must be able to have a very vast overview on cultures, on people, on history, on mysticism, on the science, both the ones that are public and the ones that are private, that they believe it's not for everybody. So, firstly, anyone or any family or any group of people that would be ruling the world or running the world must have a different mindset from the everyday person. They must have a planetary mindset. They must see things the the balance, from a planetary balance. Maybe let's use that word, from a planetary balance point of view, right? Things that will keep the planet in balance. Yeah. So, and if you look into our planet, we have different belief, different ethnicity, different race, different religion, different consciousness, different choices, different people, different characters, right? And all of this summed up together must be governed properly, right? We have the people who want chaos and the people who want peace. I mean, their nature just desires chaos, and there are people who want peace. And all of this must be balanced, right? I'm substituting the word chaos for evil. So let's use the word chaos instead of evil. And whoever must govern, or those who must govern, must be able to see from a lot of perspective, including the chaotic perspective, actually. Yeah. Must be able to see from the chaotic perspective and the peaceful perspective, to be able to govern it properly, to be able to keep each side in check, right? Yeah. To be able to keep each side in check. Well, you might question that, well, why not we just eliminate evil? To eliminate evil, I think you might have to wipe out humanity. Yeah, actually, sadly, because we're always faced with the choice between chaos and peace. I went back to evil. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're always faced with the choice between chaos and peace. Everybody. So it's not as though some people are, scratch that. So, but a lot of us, majority of us, are always faced with that choice: good, peace, and chaos. So some go ahead with chaos because, I don't know, it might be instantly gratifying. They would have some sort of gratifications from it. You must understand that there is always some sort of gratification for whichever you choose, peace or chaos. Always something. So, oof, the choice is always there. So, someone who chooses peace today might tomorrow choose chaos. So you can't specifically say that these people are chaotic, right? And say, let's take care of them. Let's take care of them. No, you'll be left with the peaceful people who might get tempted with the gratification of chaos, right? And then we go back to that cycle again. So the thing is, balance must be kept, right? Balance must be kept. And balance in all things. right? In all things. So, for one, when I look at the world now, I mean, there's chaos in our world, obviously, terrible things going on, and also there are beautiful people doing beautiful things, very beautiful things. Ah, but I don't know. Maybe I do not have a planetary mindset yet, so that's why I'm probably overwhelmed now. So chaotic and peaceful and beautiful. That's what our world is now. And if you look at it deeper, you'd find that the world, I don't know, but wherever you're listening to me from, you must have, if you have not witnessed firsthand, at least you must have heard of some level of mysticism or mysteriousness, something that hasn't been scientifically explained fully yet going on in your, you know, in your immediate community, or say in your nation or amongst your people. Possibly, something that has to do with mystical power of the sort, right? So you'd also wonder, like this stuff we see on the TV, is it not possible for one of these people who dabble into this going and searching for power, and one of them gets power and just chooses to rule over the human race with iron fist, or maybe for the better or something? So for me, I think that there's a council of people who understand all these things. Me- let's just say a council of people who understand both the mystical, the history of a lot of human population or human society, and a lot of politics, human nature, particularly the choices we are faced with, the tendencies we are more tilted to for each choice that we face, you know, and somehow they manage it. We feel it's bad, or we feel we're not well managed, but they manage it so far, and the human race surviving, has been surviving. So, with these few things I've pointed out, from the history to the politics to the economics to food to mysticism to search of power to the desire for chaos, the desire for peace, do you think you can manage this? Do you think you personally? I don't think I can now. I don't think I can. And I think there are very few people who can actually. There are things that you would know. I think there are things that you would know that if you're not ready, it might just break you. It will break your mind. It will really break your mind that your body might not be able to hold it anymore. So you might just either be permanently paralyzed or dead, something like that. So far, I think the accurate way to consume knowledge is in bits, in how do I say this now? In levels, yeah, in levels, because there are things that you would know that some of these people know that it will break you. It will break you. So personally, I don't know if I would say good job. I mean, maybe if I had a planetary mindset or consciousness, I'll be able to say, oh, the current rulers of the world are doing a good job or they are doing a terrible job. So I might not be able to judge that. I can only perceive reality from how I see it now, from my present level of consciousness and my the vastness of my perception of reality now. So that's the only way I can see things now and administer things to my immediate environment. So anyway, if you think you can, right? There's a place you can start from. There's a place you can start from, and that is family. If you have a family, try to run it like it's like you are the world ruler. Try it, and you'd see the complications of running an administration. I mean, from religion to food control, portion control, to TV time, to just try to administer everything. I mean, this is the easiest you can have it actually. This is the easiest because, firstly, you can control the number of children you give birth to or the number of children you adopt, whichever one you want, right? You can control it. So you'd have a control on your population. So you can understand why they may be trying to control our population to have better control. So controlling your population means you may have better grip on them, depending on if you know what you want. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. You must have a vision of where you want to take the world to, right? Where you want to take your family to in terms of everything, consciousness, finance, food, everything, health. You must have a place you want to go to, and then you set out goals, that will help everyone achieve it, regardless of their um, difference in character, difference in consciousness, difference in perception, right? Basically, this is consider this. Family is the easiest you'd have to trying this out. I don't know. I don't know. Kudos to those who run families, and I don't know. Maybe kudos to the world power. I don't know. Or terrible guys, terrible. I don't know what to say, but think about it though. Think about it. Do you think you can? Do you think you can? If something happens to the society today, do you think you can lead people to develop a suitable community, right? If the world collapses today and say there are few survivors, do you think you can lead people? I think there are people who can lead people actually. I've seen very great leaders in people. Personally, I have, right? But the thing is, a lot of that leadership is confined, right? It has upper limit and lower limit. Say if it's in your job, right? There are things that those people are not privy to, and they may not have knowledge to be able to guide you about, right? But on the job, they are wonderful leaders, and maybe to the bits that they know of personal life, they try their best. But a lot of times you'd find that you know we all have our issues. We all have our issues. So basically, the question: do you think you can run the world? Do you think maybe not just you? Do you think your family can run the world to a point that majority of the world would not complain, or do you think it will just be the same thing as the people who are doing it presently? So again, share your thoughts in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. This is Demigod Media, people. Wait for the next episode. We'll have something to think about. We'll have something to talk about. You know? All right. Until later, guys. Peace. Cheers.